Welcome to Bridges Beyond Business, the Pitt Business Podcast exploring how leadership, innovation, and community impact merge. I'm your host, Bob James, Director of the Office of Inclusion and Engagement here at the University of Pittsburgh School of Business. In this episode, we are excited to welcome a Pittsburgh legend, former NFL quarterback and community leader, Charlie Batch. Welcome, Charlie.
Thank you. Appreciate you having me.
Absolutely. Charlie, for introduction, is a former NFL quarterback who played 15 seasons, including 2 Super Bowl championships with the Pittsburgh Steelers. He is a leader and advocate within the NFL Players Association, helping represent and support the interests of NFL players. He and his wife, Latasha, are the founders of the Best of Batch Foundation, which has positively impacted thousands of Pittsburgh area youth through educational and mentoring programs. Charlie is an active civic leader in Pittsburgh, regularly engaged in initiatives supporting community development and youth opportunity. Most recently, I enjoyed watching Charlie receive the top award by Scouting America Laurel Highlands Council. Congratulations on that award, Charlie. He is the co-host of the Snap Count podcast, and during Steelers season, many fans know Charlie as a television analyst on KDKA's Steeler coverage. And of particular interest today, Charlie is a member of the NFL Draft Host Committee. Charlie, it's wonderful to have you here. Thank you for helping to make this happen.
I appreciate you. Thank you.
Absolutely. From your vantage point, as both an NFL player and community leader, why does the NFL Draft matter? And particularly with regard to the region and the city of Pittsburgh.
Right. And the way the draft has really evolved over the years, and they really wanted to put it on the road because there were a lot of owners that ultimately were saying, man, we would love to have that in our city, especially when you're not part of the Super Bowl rotation. And when you see other cities put it off in the manner of Detroit, Kansas City, even Green Bay, that gave hope for a city like Pittsburgh, smaller city, but yet being able to put on an event of this magnitude. So it's important to the region. And when you just look at what the Steeler organization has done, mainly the Rooney family, by putting this together, Dan Rooney has been instrumental for making this happen for the region. It gets everybody excited because, again, this may not be here probably for another 20 years or so.
Wow. So it has some significant community impact. When the draft comes to a city, what type of businesses typically benefit from it coming?
Well, I think everybody who does business with the NFL, meaning Steelers, but also people who may not get that opportunity to do so, the smaller businesses. And you have the NFL, they have their cohorts and being able to now submit applications to now hopefully be involved. And obviously there's a vetting process that happens, and the process happens a year ago. You know, people think it just happens now, but again, there's that vetting process that happens. Obviously you have to get approval from the league, and then ultimately that works its way down. So you get people who are excited that want to do business, never had done business, but also get a chance to prove that, hey, I could do it on this scale. And hopefully there's opportunities nationally for a business from Pittsburgh being able to now do this nationally.
Yes, yes. And do they favor small businesses? Are those valued by the NFL?
They really are, because a lot of people, it's one thing to have the big, top Fortune 500 companies that are all part of business of the NFL, but yet there are a lot of people who help make game day experience happen. And when you now bring it to the draft experience, this is almost like the start of the new year. And it's not what football season looks like in the fall, but hey, now you're showing everything that happens. And when you see just everything that's going to unfold on the North Shore, Market District area, these are going to be a lot of different places that ultimately people are going to be able to experience.
Yes. Any sense for the magnitude of this event? How many people are expected to come to the city and to the region? And I know I'm already hearing hotels are sold out and people are Airbnb-ing their homes. What does this look like in terms of the numbers?
Yeah, anybody else who was outside of Pittsburgh over a year ago, I was telling them secure locations, secure your hotel space, because again, it's a big little city here in Pittsburgh, and we're not used to the magnitude of what we're expecting here. Over 500,000 people that people are expecting to now enter into our region and celebrate it. Because I always say Pittsburgh is a city on the map where you're not going to throw a dart and say, oh, I'm going to spend my vacation time in Pittsburgh. Business, family, sporting events, those type of things that draw people into this region. But yet when they get here, they're like, wow, I didn't expect Pittsburgh to be so beautiful. And those are things that you're hoping that happens in this particular manner.
Yes, yes. I know the mayor and others have been talking about this NFL draft and have been thinking about how to roll this out on that national level to make sure that Pittsburgh reflects who we are and the beauty of our city. Can you talk about the NFL Draft Source Program and how it connects the NFL with local businesses?
Yes, and that's important. That was a part of what I talked about over a year ago, that you have to submit your applications there. And then obviously there's an approval process that happens. Those award letters goes out to the businesses on who they're going to potentially work with. And now it gives them the opportunity to now the event planning, everything that they're looking to do, and expectations, because people just think it happens on draft day. It doesn't. There are things that lead up to it that businesses can actually take advantage of, really starting on the weekend before the draft, as everybody's starting to come into town. And then ultimately that unfolds on Tuesday, Wednesday. And then, of course, showtime is prime time on Thursday at 8 o'clock during draft day.
Yes. And is it something that everyone should be aware of here in Pittsburgh, or is it only for NFL fans, those who are real fanatics with regard to the NFL?
Well, I think it's a combination of both, right? You do have people who are pure football fans, but also there are people who are now becoming interested in that. And that's the beauty of football, because everybody is all at different walks of life when they experience this. Doesn't matter if my niece at 7 years old that's learning football, or somebody else, in their seniors that are a part of it, but they're all passionate about it. And it just comes down to understanding what you're watching. And once you understand it, yes, you're glued in, but there's also opportunities that people could take advantage of, especially here in Pittsburgh, because people don't realize that they have one of the largest, if not the largest, female fan base. And again, now you're talking about glamifying jerseys, and beautifying those things. And there are opportunities that way that business can actually go out there and make money as well.
Excellent. And beyond the economic impact, how can the draft leave a lasting legacy in a city like Pittsburgh?
I think when you talk about the living legacy, I think ultimately for me, I tell people, hey, go down and experience that. Yes, you can expect 500,000 people. But again, if we exceed that number, now you're showing the NFL at the headquarters in New York, Pittsburgh can pull this event off. And ultimately, when you do that now, when it comes up now in the circuit, you can say, hey, look what we did, many years ago. We want that now to come back to Pittsburgh. And of course, we'll be bigger and better than ever. And when you experience it for the first time, now we know what's going to happen the second time around, and we know it's going to be better. Not to say that this one isn't. It's just an opportunity to prove to the NFL that Pittsburgh belongs. And that's why we're one of the greatest organizations. And that's why it has one of the largest fan bases around the world.
Yes. Success breeds success. And you're serving on the host committee for the draft. And, I know that the host committee, it's a very select group who's on that host committee, not really widely publicized, but you were obviously valued to be on that committee. Why is it important for players and former players to stay involved in shaping these events?
It's important because we've experienced that, and we can give that insight of what happens behind the scenes, and now bring that expertise to this particular panel or committee that we're on. And I think it resonates, because when we started these conversations over a year ago, even though it seems so far away, we're like, no, guys, the calendar and it's going to come up, and it's going to creep up on us before you know it. And next thing you know, the Super Bowl was here. And then officially, all of a sudden, now all eyes are on Pittsburgh. So I think when you have that, it's just an opportunity to tell the stories. And the one committee that I sit on is the Legacy Committee. I'm co-chair with Dan Rooney, who is the son of Art Rooney. We've been talking about bringing stories to life, because people don't realize there has been over 750 players who were born in this region that were drafted by the NFL. That is huge, because that now tops in the league when you talk about pure city location, but also now being able to highlight and tell that story. And that's why it was important to collaborate with NFL Films, being able to share it, because people don't realize the historical aspect that Pittsburgh plays in shaping what the NFL looks like here today. There's a film that's called The Football Town. It was just released a couple of weeks ago, which is playing at the Science Center, and it just shapes and tells the whole story of the region. That is narrated by Pittsburgh's own Pat McAfee. And to be able to tell that story, it opened up 2 weeks ago. It will run through the draft. And I'm sure at that particular point, they'll be working on streaming options for people who are outside the regions, so those people can have a chance to look at the film as well. It's really well done. It's 52 minutes.
Yes, I've been hearing about that. I've been looking for it on Netflix, and I'm going to go see it at the Science Center since I know it's there. Appreciate you alerting us to that. Now, many of our listeners are Pitt business students. What advice would you give them about finding opportunity in events like the NFL draft?
This is where networking becomes important, right? You learn all of it behind the scenes. You're in the classroom. Everybody has prepared you well for that opportunity. But now it's up to you. It's about accountability at this particular point. Now look at the calendar of events that are going on. Strategically place yourself at these events. If one of those is possibly meeting the commissioner of National Football League who has Pittsburgh ties, he went to Washington and Jefferson. People don't realize that there's an opportunity there. Shake his hand. Hey, this is what, tell your story, but also don't waste time as well. What are you looking to gain out of that particular relationship? Because there's time of his essence, right? And I say that because when you're meeting Roger Goodell, you don't want to monopolize his time. Now, what are those words that are powerful when you're shaking his hand? What is going to resonate that he's going to remember you? And ultimately now having the opportunity to build a relationship, not just with him, but his team, and figuring out, hey, how can we now do business together? Ultimately, these are things that are opportunities are going to be a part of it. I only give that example because Roger Goodell will be in Pittsburgh for an entire week. That is an opportunity to meet him and all of his team that's coming in from New York. Not sure on a game day, but now more on a relaxed atmosphere that you're able to have conversations with him.
Tremendous access, it sounds like, is going to be available. And we do have a sports management certificate here at the University of Pittsburgh School of Business for those who are interested in pursuing that and aligning with their interest. But I have only one other question, Charlie, for you. I want to know, I've got this NFL football here, and we got a lot of names on here, but I'm not sure we have the name on here. I want to make sure Charlie Batch is on here to go with John Stallworth and Joe Green and Mel Blount. So if you could do me that favor, I'd be most appreciative.
Absolutely. Absolutely. This is awesome. And there's going to be a lot of, not just Pittsburgh legends that are in town. There's a lot of people from outside the city that maybe never have come to Pittsburgh outside of a game. And there's going to be so many people to meet, so many legends that are going to be walking around the streets of Pittsburgh. So it's going to be exciting. I get excited about it, even though I played and people say, oh, you have easier access. But again, you still have to know what you want and what the ask is. And this ultimately comes down to building relationships. And those are the things that have been important to me because I built organic relationships, but also when you have it and people see the passion that you have, they're speaking your name in rooms that you're not even in. And that's been important to us. And we always try to return that favor, not just on the football field, but even with Best of the Batch Foundation, something that we've been able to do over the last 28 years, where we service now over 4,000 kids annually in 9 counties throughout southwestern Pennsylvania. So we're looking at it from that perspective of continuing to be people aware of what we're doing, but also being able to now continue and spread the good message that we are receiving in that manner. So we are truly grateful and humbled. So if we can partner with anybody, please reach out to us. You can go to batchfoundation.org. You'll be able to see everything that we do throughout a calendar year. And if there are ways to collaborate, by all means, we love to do so.
Excellent. And I understand you've opened up a 35,000 square foot facility. Is that right?
We did. So not quite 35, but we went from 5,300 square feet to 33,000 square feet. We could use this 2,000 square feet, extra square feet of space, because we're really busting out of the seams. And those are things that we get excited about. Of course, now as we celebrate 28 years, we weren't there all the time. We were at the infancy stages, and then we ended up getting our 5,300 square feet building, and we were doing all program out of that. And then ultimately, my wife and I, Latasha, she was like, we need to expand. You think we can pull this off? And we were able to acquire 3 parcels, and we ultimately now grew to the space on what we're seeing now, over 33,000 square feet. When we talk about the 4,000 kids that we service annually, 1,800 of those kids will physically walk through our doors throughout a calendar year. And that's where we get the family that are trusting us with their kids, but also making sure that we're continual programming, because we're an educational foundation and we focus on our STEAM programs. We say STEAM instead of STEM because we include the A for arts, yes. But ultimately our after school programs, that's a critical time OST. It's important. So again, people who are believing in us, please, our doors are always open. We love to show it off and give tours. So please stop on by. Literally, we're right in Munn Hall, only a few minutes away from where we're sitting here today.
Absolutely. We may have students who want to volunteer or help in some way with your Best of Batch Foundation as well. Really amazing. I really want to applaud you and Latasha for the work that you do in the community. You're passionate. I see you at all the events, Absolute Epilepsy Foundation and other events. You're going to be featured on April 17th. I got to raise that. You're going to be roasted.
So I'm nervous.
Right.
I'm nervous about this. Is Mel Blount's annual celebrity gala that he has, and he's been doing it for years. So shout out to Mel Blount. He's doing phenomenal work with the Mel Blount Youth Home. And we've been collaborating for years now, and we always go down and support. And he approached me last year and he said, we want to honor you. I said, how do you be honored at a celebrity roast? That's it.
Right.
everybody's sitting there talking about me and laughing at me. But again, he's like, no, it's all in fun. It's all in fun. So I graciously agreed to that. And I'm looking forward to it as we continue to raise awareness for the Mel Blount Youth Home, because he is doing amazing work out there in Washington County. If you have not been out there, please look him up. It's Mel Blount and Youth Home Initiative that he has. They're a phenomenal organization. So we just are excited. So again, April 17th, we'll be getting roasted, and I hope they don't laugh at me too.
No, yeah, I'm sure they won't. And, it's a tribute to you. They don't just elect anyone to be roasted. That means that you're going to attract all those superheroes, those legends back to Pittsburgh. And so I applaud you for that as well. Thank you so much, Charlie, for taking the time. It's been wonderful. And I hope all of you are able to attend the NFL draft and its related events in Pittsburgh. It'll be here Thursday, April 23rd through Saturday, April 25th. And there are going to be lots of opportunities for our cities and our communities. This is Bridges Beyond Business. Until next time, thank you for tuning in.